and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comic books, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And this week's podcast is brought to you by Audible.
Sign up today and get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
There is over 150,000 titles to choose from, all available on your Android device, Kindle, and iPhone.
We'll have our audiobook recommendation of the week later on in this podcast episode. But for any new listeners out there, any new brokettes, the way we break down our podcast is we start off with some news ranging again from comics all the way through video games. And then we end with our comic book pool list of the week.
And we're actually going to start out with some Nintendo news. Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, they had one this week, and it's pretty much the last one before the holiday season starts. And they really took advantage of this. One thing that people were demanding was a release date for the Mario Kart 8 DLC.
Yes, and we did finally get that. The first pack of Mario Kart 8 DLC will release on November 13th.
So just a couple of days from now, we're recording this on a Sunday night. By the time any of you listen to this, it will have already gone up. The pack will include 8 new levels and 3 new playable characters, including Link from The Legend of Zelda.
That's all you need right there. Worth it, buy it. Each pack is $8, or you can get both for $12, which is fantastic. It's a great price for everything that you get.
Great deal. If you were to get both packs, that's 16 new levels total and 6 new characters. The pack for number 2 will release in May 2015.
Too far away.
I'll tell you what, though, this pack and Super Smash Bros. Are going to hold up. They're going to hold over players for a long, long time.
They also made a big announcement.
Yeah, big surprise, except, well, I called it, but I didn't.
But you did kind of call it. I'm pretty sure you called it. Arriving on the 3DS, Spring 2015, The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask.
I kept saying that they were going to announce it for E3. Broquette, stay tuned. Watch E3. Nintendo's going to say The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask will be out this holiday season. And then nothing. I looked like an asshole. And now for this Nintendo Direct, they're like, it actually is coming. And Daniel's still an asshole because it actually comes out next year. I'm like, shit. For any younger listeners out there, Majora's Mask is an N64 game that came out back in the year 2000, so 14 years ago.
Before any of you were born.
It's not really that long ago, but that game required you to have an expansion pack, like a extra memory unit.
Those were tough to get back in the day.
They were.
Like, for N64, I remember I had to have one for my Toy Story game. And that was like, well, why do you need this? I don't know. I just need it.
And you couldn't justify it to your parents ever.
Right.
Like, what am I going to say?
Because they're like, well, why do you need to save the game? Like, I can't play it for 14 hours.
So that's huge news. I will never understand why people demanded for Majora's Mask. My brother says he never played it, so that's why he really wanted it to come out. But Rick from Those Two Jerks here on Nerd Up Media Network said that they are remembering the game and they're mixing nostalgia with the good feelings they had back then, playing games and being kids. It's true, they're mixing nostalgia with quality.
I never played it. Looks real spooky to me. It's got that spooky moon, like, hey, and I'm like, whoa, spooky moon.
It is probably one of, if not the darkest, Legend of Zelda game. Even darker than Twilight Princess.
It looks real spooky, guys. If you haven't played it, spooky.
Something they could do is they can bring out a special edition 3DS XL for Majora's Mask. Make it purple or whatever, and then put Majora's Mask like an outline on it, and bundle it up even if you want with a digital copy.
When you flip it open, I want it to be that spooky moon, like, hey, welcome to playing your game.
Even in HD, it's still as spooky. Like, they made the eyeballs pop out more with the new redesign. I'm like, holy shit, it's still scary.
Imagine that thing in 3D. Who really wants to see that thing in 3D?
They probably disabled that feature for any time the moon pops up.
No!
They're like, we need customers. We can't have kids dying of heart attacks.
You need to, like, right when it gets to that spooky moon, close it. Like, paused, set it to the side, and then wait for somebody else to open it. Just on that spooky moon in 3D.
Yeah.
I'm glad, though, they're listening to fans. This is what they asked for. That's what they got. Hopefully they'll do Pokemon Snap next.
Hopefully. Longtime listeners know that we get the Bee and Puppycat comic book, and
Yes.
we love it. We enjoy it.
Yes.
And they also know that we supported the Kickstarter for Bee and Puppycat the series.
And we have a puppy cat!
And we do. You saw it on the YouTube unboxing for the Puppycat review. It's awesome. If you haven't checked it out, go on our YouTube channel. A link is up on nerdupmedia.com. But the series finally premiered.
Finally!
Kickstarter was 1 year ago. We did the tier where you get the Kickstarter exclusive variant cover for Bee and Puppycat #1, along with the Blu-ray, soundtrack, special art, behind the scenes, all kinds of stuff.
All of it.
We were all over that. We have gotten the comic at this point. Mm-hmm. The Blu-ray probably won't release until after the series has completely aired.
That's fine.
But in the meantime, they didn't release just one. They released 2 episodes on YouTube. These are all free to watch.
They were so good!
They were awesome. I loved it. They are still building up this romantic relationship between Bee and Puppycat. Like, yeah, Puppycat is an animal. It's a half dog, half cat. Yeah. But if you remember the pilot or the very first premiere thing they did with it, he's a space outlaw that got transformed into a monster. That monster is this Puppycat. And he probably sees himself as a monster because that's how he told the story. Mm-hmm. And he's not happy in it. But he is taking care of Bee. And there's another relationship that they built in this. I'm loving all of it.
It is. It's wonderful. The first episode was so funny. With Puppycat, he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
He's like the best little asshole ever. And I want to hug him all the time.
Well, he's jealous. He doesn't like that fucking asshole guy that...
Deckard?
Yeah, fuck him.
You leave Deckard alone.
Fuck Deckard.
He made her a casserole.
And Puppycat saved her life a couple of times already.
Well, just, whatever.
So you want her to end up with Deckard?
She needs to grow up before she ends up with Puppycat.
Well, maybe she will throughout the series.
And I hope
She'll grow up and let go of Deckard because she knows the adult thing to do would be to let him go off to cooking school and then she can be with Puppycat. That fulfills your stipulation.
Okay, fine. Yes, totally fulfills them. One thing I really liked about this in the very first ones we had, the first 2 episodes, you could tell that they were still starting to get to know each other. With these 2, you can tell some time has passed. So Bee and Puppycat really care about each other. They're kind of becoming a family and getting used to living together. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel that was out of place.
Yeah, me neither. Not until you brought it up that I noticed that, yeah, they have grown since a year ago when the other episodes premiered.
Mm-hmm. So it's wonderful. We're still getting weird dreams. I'm still feeling a lot of Sailor Moon vibes, which is great.
Yeah, the dreams, I feel, connect the entire series because it's the same dream, but it changes a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it connects the 2 characters so much, Bee and Puppycat. The one thing we noticed when we were watching these videos, we're like, oh, we loved it. Let's go down to the comments, see what people are saying about it. Because I always like to see what fans think of the same stuff that we watch. And a lot of it was very, very negative. I was very surprised. And the 2 things that they were saying, one, they didn't like the redesign for the characters.
I thought it looked great.
They felt that Bee looked too much like Steven Universe, not as grown up as she did in the first 2 episodes. Too round, and some people said, oh, she's fatter. It's like, no, it's a character design change. And it's not even that drastic. And then number 2, they felt it wasn't as funny or as quirky, and it was too story-driven. But that's what's going to happen when you make a series.
Yes, it's 10 episodes?
I believe so.
So they have to tell a story in 10 episodes, or people are going to go, you didn't tell a story.
They're going to say it's just mini whatever things. Right. And I would much prefer what they're doing now, if it's going to be 10 episodes, than giving me 2 episodes of what we initially got and having that be an entire series.
Which had some great lines, though. Can I just say I use them all the time?
Yeah, you do.
You took too long. Now your candy's gone. That's what happens.
It's a great series. Like, I'm really liking it. I think all of you should check it out.
Really creepy farmer in this one, too.
Yeah, he was awesome.
I was even more creeped out the second time. Because I knew who he was. And I didn't like him.
Yeah, me neither.
But, guys, definitely amazing. Just as wonderful as the comics. We always rave about the comic. So definitely check it out on YouTube. Cartoon Hangover. It's free.
It is free. Just costs you your time, and trust me, it's worth it. We are going to move into some comic book movie news before we head into our comic news. First one being that The Wrap is reporting that Jared Leto, previously rumored to be in the running for Marvel's Doctor Strange, is being set up to play the Joker in 2016's Suicide Squad.
Interesting.
I don't believe it.
I don't know if I believe it either.
I don't believe it at all. This is the period in which movies that are in development really early, where we're not getting too much information on them, that all these websites and reporters and all this put out this bit of news that is nothing just to get a bunch of, as you know, Rick and Tom would call it, clickbait. And that's exactly what this is. I honestly think it's way too soon for them to use the Joker. I don't think they will.
I don't believe so either.
I don't think they will use the Joker for many years. That's why I don't believe this. I think that Harley Quinn will fill that spot of Joker or whatever if they really wanted to in Suicide Squad. And that's all you need. And I know Kelli and I say all the time, Harley is nothing without the Joker. Very true, but I think she works in a team collaboration like the Suicide Squad.
I completely agree. When we saw the animated Suicide Squad movie, I felt that she was fine. Except her voice actor was horrible.
Was shitty, yeah.
Let's just, forget that.
And you were okay with her sleeping with Deadshot, obviously, right?
Well, yeah. Anyway. So I think her character will be great in this movie also. Again, I'm just worried about who they get to play her.
Right. There is a rumor on that as well, and she looks the part, but that doesn't make a role. You have to actually see if they can act, if they can capture the character. That's the main thing.
They can do her voice.
Is that what it is for you?
Yes, they need to be able to do her voice. Just get Arlene Sorkin. It's fine. She's old, whatever.
Yeah, we do want to say thank you to longtime Brocat listener at IrishOnFire31 for linking us to this news. Also, we have something more on a upcoming Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm. Deadline has reported that Fox has greenlit a Gambit movie.
Last time we saw Gambit on the big screen was in Wolverine: The Origins, I believe it was.
I blocked that from my mind.
That's where Deadpool was Baraka, essentially, from Mortal Kombat. No mouth, and at the end of it, he's got these two big blades, and he can shoot Cyclops lasers.
Is that who that was?
Yes, that was supposed to be Deadpool, and people hated it. And he didn't talk, which is not a thing, Deadpool.
All I remember is somebody lasered a giant building with her.
That's probably the one. But Gambit is very, very popular. Recently at the comic shop I work at, I noticed that we didn't have any of the 93 issues, the back issues. So I'm like, holy shit, let me check the warehouse. We had some. I got one of each, threw them in the bins, and already people are picking up those Gambit issues. It's always been a popular character. I couldn't tell you why either. I think it's a really cool character design is mainly the thing, sort of like Venom. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't really point to a significant Venom story and say that is what you should make a movie out of. People just like the character. He looks cool and he eats people's brains. And in this case, Gambit, he does.
That's why they like him.
He's just kind of a badass, I guess.
And he eats people's brains. I just loved how nonchalantly you said that.
That's Venom. Like, that's who he is. I remember as a kid, even, I liked Venom as well, and I bought some Venom comics. I'm like, he eats people's brains? Like, that's kind of fucked up. I never knew that about it. Then I grew up and don't really care about Venom anymore.
I thought you were going to say don't care about eating people's brains anymore.
Well, I don't like zombies, really, so... This Gambit movie will star Channing Tatum. It's going to be written by Josh Zetumer, who did 2014's RoboCop. That's actually his only writing credit.
You liked that movie, didn't you?
RoboCop, I thought it was just okay.
Okay.
I like the original one more.
A lot of girls are going to go see this movie.
Very true.
With Channing Tatum, a lot of girls. That was smart. Even if he does a shitty job, a lot of girls will go see that movie.
It should do fine.
So Gambit's creator, Chris Claremont, is rumored to be writing the treatment that the screenplay will be based on.
So that's a bit of good news. Mm-hmm. He's involved in some way. That'd be like Paul Dini, writing up a solid Mr. Freeze movie or something. Something that he created.
Movie? Like or a For Real's Mad Love movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's get rid of... What's a DC movie that we don't really need?
That's coming up right now?
Yes.
I guess Cyborg, maybe? But that's the thing, we don't know much about him.
Batman and Friends 2. Let's get rid of that one, and we'll have a Mad Love movie.
I'd be okay with that.
And by Batman and Friends, I mean Justice League.
And by movie, I mean an animated adaptation of the episode, but into a feature-length film.
Yes! Oh, it'd be so good! With Kevin Conroy and Arlene Sorkin.
They're still around.
Done.
It can work.
Perfect.
For our comic book news, we're going to kick it off with Scott Snyder. He revealed that the weekly comic Batman Eternal will get another year of new stories. Batman Eternal's selling pretty well, actually, and it's got the story to back it up. We're actually not buying it. We get very select issues based on the artist.
But it's so weekly. It's so I'm glad it's doing well enough that they can do another year. That's fabulous to have more Batman out there. But a weekly? So expensive.
It's still going, but so far this is the only one of the weeklies that are going on right now that is returning for a year 2.
Okay.
Future's End is ending in March, along with the first year of Batman Eternal, and the Earth's End, part of the Earth 2 weekly comic that's just debuted, actually. Mm-hmm. And that's all because of this upcoming event.
Yes, DC has finally announced their April 2015 event. The story is called Convergence. Pretty cool. So Brainiac, as seen in Future's End, has been collecting cities and bottles from dying universes. Brainiac plans to open up all the bottles onto one world. Cray cray!
So we saw a preview of all the different Earths that they're going to be using.
Mm-hmm.
And these do include the world of Flashpoint, the original Captain Carrot, so in cartoon form, Kingdom Come, and Superman Red Sun.
That one sounds amazing.
Sounds great. Dan DiDio, who is the co-publisher on DC, said, "There is a story and a character for every generation of DC Comics fans. We're picking up at points of their lives where we left them off and finding out what's gone on with them since then."
Can Red Sun Superman meet New 52 Batman and fall in love with him?
I think it's very possible.
I think that should happen, and then he could be like, I want to lobotomize him, but my heart says no. It'll be perfect. Write this book. Write Dan DiDio. Tell him it needs to be in there.
Yeah. What do you think of the premise for Brainiac, what he's doing?
I think it's really, really cool. It's going to get people... So, for instance, say we weren't following New 52. We were only following animated series. Well, you make an animated series one where they run into New 52, and now I'm attached to New 52. It's really smart.
Do you feel like there's going to be a relaunch after Convergence? A lot of people are speculating about this, is because Marvel is also doing their own thing that parallels exactly this with their Secret Wars and all of their one-shot things. They released a teaser image that says, I think this is the end.
Man, the comic book world is like a high school. Because this class over here is like, we're doing this. And then this class is like, well, we're doing that too. I'm like, calm down, guys. You could be different.
They can be, but let's face it, relaunches sell books.
They do. I think it's way too early for a relaunch. Way too early. We have some great stories going.
We do. Here's the thing. Older readers that dropped off at the New 52, and a lot of people did back in 2011, and they haven't come back since, are always commenting on any New 52 comic book news such as this and saying, bring back the red trunks. I want my pre-New 52. The New 52 Band-Aid is what they're calling it. Like, they're getting rid of all of this. But I think Convergence is actually going to be taking the best parts of pre-New 52 and the New 52 stuff that has been working, like the Court of Owls, and putting it into one storyline or one reality.
Okay. Yes, I see that. I agree, and I approve. Because I approved, it's okay.
But that means the Superman's red underwear, they're coming back.
That's okay. He'll still be gay for Batman. That's not going to change.
So how do you explain Superman putting on the red underwear in his mind? Like, I know it's probably just going to be his version's going to merge with the New 52, but...
He went into one of those go-go clubs where all the boys wear the tiny little underwears, and he's like, they get lots of boys. I wonder if this will get me Batman. And you put it on the outside. That's how it worked.
We love you, Superman. This story, Convergence, it will run for 2 months starting on April 1st.
Oh, it's an April Fool's. They got us all. I'm calling it right now. April Fool's.
So how will they release Convergence?
There will be 40 two-part miniseries that will highlight the different worlds and characters along with an 8-issue weekly main series.
Alright, so they're saying, okay, this is the Red Sun universe, where this has 2 books. This is the Flashpoint universe, this has 2. But the main series is going to be 8 issues over those 2 months. So that's where people like me who work at a comic shop take issue. How do we order for that? How do we know how many to order for that next month, or for issue 2 or 3 or 4 of a weekly, if we don't have a month to see how the book sells? I mean, that's going to be the pain in the ass part of this.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we get enough books for everyone, but at the same time, we don't want to lose money and be stuck with 40 copies of issue 3.
Right. Everybody order a small amount, and then they'll be worth more.
Or hopefully there's second printings. Like, that's the issue with something like this, where if you make it a weekly over 2 months, it's difficult for us. Hopefully they already said they're not letting us return the books if we don't sell them. Sometimes DC does let us do that. Like, here you go, order as many as you need, and that gives us confidence. Like, all right, so we can order up on, say, Batman Eternal, knowing that we can return whatever copies we don't sell. Not the case for this miniseries, or this, whatever this is, Convergence.
Yeah, this is really rough, because I think the 2-part miniseries, I think they're going to sell well. Because, for example, I love Red Sun. We're going to pick up the 2 issues of Red Sun. If they do a Timverse, we're going to pick up 2 issues of Timverse. You can kind of pinpoint your market there. But with the main series, like you said, there's no way to know.
Going back to Timverse, if they can do Captain fucking Carrot, they can do the Bruce Timm universe. And I don't want it to just be like, well, this is how we drew Batman Beyond and Batman Beyond Universe. We'll just take that art style and make a book out of that. You can start there as an idea, but when you come out with this book, make it like Bruce Timm drawings, like an actual cartoon, and that's the actual universe. Let's do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun, and you can have the animated series Batman meet every other Batman. That would be really cool.
I think if they don't do this, you need to go through the store and like knock all the rest of them off the shelves. Like, no, you're not Bruce Timm.
But even if they don't do it, we're still buying it.
Of course we would. But we'd buy extra much if it was the Timverse.
Oh, of course.
And if Bruce Timm actually animated it and Dini wrote it, now I'm getting you excited. Calm down.
I'm about to get you excited. We did see a couple of previews of the classic outfit Harley Quinn.
Yeah! I'm so excited.
This could mean classic outfit Harley will come back.
What if they did Gotham Sirens?
Please do Gotham Sirens and bring back Paul Dini.
And Streets of Gotham and make Justin Nguyen do it.
Yep.
Okay, approved. Let's just pick our favorite ones and not anybody else's favorites.
So what stuff from the New 52 that they've done so far do you want to see them keep, if that is the case in which they merge the past stories with the new ones? And which ones do you want to see go away?
Batman, they need to keep. Just all the Batmans.
Everything from Scott Snyder's Batman?
Yes, everything Batman. I want Jeff Johns to go back on Green Lantern, and then they can keep that one.
Okay, so have him return to the book of Green Lantern. I can see that happening, especially if there is a relaunch at this point.
They need to keep Sinestro, because I really like Sinestro.
Right. What about story elements? Like Court of Owls is one that I want to see stay with the universe that they build.
Batman Beyond. I think they've done a great job continuing that story from the comic.
So instead of just popping up in the New 52 Futures End, have them be officially in that universe. Would you want Batman Beyond to be like in Spider-Man 2099, where he's in current timeline continuity, kind of doing his own thing and stuck in this timeline? Or would you want a future Batman Beyond the book, sort of like they did with Universe?
I think I would want it to be a future book. That way we could still get Old Man Bruce, and then I could still have another story with Young Man Bruce.
Or they could even steal the idea from Universe and have him have that ability to go between both periods. Like, I'm needed here in this past event, and I'm needed... Maybe they'll only use him for main events, like Batman Beyond in the future. Like,
That'd
he gets
really
called
cool.
to help out in this big thing.
But that just gives him more chance to be whiny like he has been. Like, I want to go to this universe now. And I'm like, okay, Terry, chillax.
So let us know what you think of Convergence on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke or on Facebook, facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke.
Now on to some news that we're very excited about. Audible.com is not the only way that you can support us. You can also donate for t-shirts. These are produced by Lazy Nerds Designs at Lazy Nerds Designs. And for a donation of $16.99, you can choose your color.
Yeah, for every donation of $16.99, you get a t-shirt. We have color offerings of red, blue, gray, and black. And the logo changes colors based on which one you pick. If you head on over to nerdupmedia.com/shop, you can see the designs on there. You can see instructions on how you can help us and how you can donate. All of the donations, they go towards the t-shirt materials, the cost of producing them, and the costs for us to upload our episodes, our YouTube videos for any of the people that have like a capture card, like the Lazy Gaming guys. And it just really helps us out in keeping on going. Obviously, this is only an out cost for us, so stuff like Audible Trial and the t-shirts really help us out.
Each of our shirts has the Nerd Up Media logo. certainly helps spread the word about our network, and it also comes in a variety of sizes, so you can get the one that's perfect for you.
Women's or men's, I listed what we have available, and we'll ship them out for you. $16.99, that includes the shipping as well. Finally, we have a question of the week from John on Facebook, who asked, what do you think is too much to pay for a single issue comic? $3.99, $4.99?
It depends on the comic.
Yes.
What comic are we talking about here? Are we talking about Constantine? Because I would not trade you that leaf over there for that book. Would not do it. You could say, give me that free leaf. I would say no. You would say, here's Constantine and $5. I would say no. So not Constantine.
Yeah, I think you're right. It does depend on the comic. We said before when they were trying to raise the comic price of Batman to $4.99 that, we didn't agree with it because readers, that's their tipping point right there. But something like Batman, we would still get. But if we're talking about just the standard price overall, ranging from DC, Marvel, just your standard book, I think at the most $3.99 is what we're looking at.
Agreed.
If they were to try to push books up to $4.99, even if they added extra pages, it would be we'd be dropping books left and right. I don't think we'd be picking up, for example, Justice League United. I can see us dropping if it's at $4.99, because at this point the story is not serving that price point. Most of the Marvel books are $3.99. I don't think there's any that are $2.99. But if they were to raise that up, I couldn't justify getting Ultimate Spider-Man. Even if they do sometimes give you the bonus code, that's not a reason to raise the price on it, because not everyone uses that code.
I agree 100%. Once you start pushing that $5 mark, then people are going, oh, that's $5. No.
One of the funny things is I had a customer come in, and she was talking about the Marvel books, how she wants DC to always give digital codes with your copy of the book. Now, what she's getting at is if you try to buy the comic online for $3.99, that's what you're going to be paying. You pay the same price as you do if you were to walk into a comic book shop. The digital version still costs $4. However, on the Marvel books, if it's a higher-end comic like Amazing Spider-Man, Miles Morales, they give you a code that is the digital copy of it. But all of their books are an extra $1. So she's saying this as if they're just giving it to you for free, and DC should do the same. But if DC did that, then they would raise theirs $1 as well. So you're always paying that extra $1 to get that digital code. Yes, it's not $3.99, but it's not also a freebie, gimme, thanks for the bonus code,
Right. They are going to raise comic prices, let's be real. Eventually they'll all be $4.99, and we will all still pick them up.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite at that point yet, though. I don't feel like the market is ready for that.
I will say, though, if Saga...
Yeah, what would you pay for Saga an issue?
Are we being real?
We're being real.
No judgment. This is a no judgment zone.
No jokes, no judgment.
No judgment. I would probably pay $7 an issue for Saga.
Okay.
I would. I'd be like, here's an hour of work. Just give me that book.
For a lifetime of awesome.
Yes, exactly. I 7 or 8. I wouldn't go to 10 yet, but I'd get close.
Wow. I would not get there.
You know what? But
I'm not judging.
No, this was a judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
Same with you listeners. No judgment. They're judging me, though. I can feel it. They're like, Kelly, it's not that good.
The judgment is coming from the future into you now recording this at the moment.
It is. It hurts, guys. It hurts.
And before we move into our comics for the week, we do have an Audible audiobook recommendation for this week.
The Supergirls, Fashion, Feminism, Fantasy, and the History of Comic Book Heroines.
The premise for this are the stories of Wonder Woman's search for an identity, Batwoman and Power Girl's battle for equality, and Manhunter's juggling of a crime-fighting career and motherhood, also an alternative saga of modern American women.
Interesting. So this audiobook is free with your trial when you sign up at audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. Brokettes get a free audiobook download of their choice along with a free 30-day trial.
With more and more comics being with a female superhero as the front-end star, stuff like this is going to be really popular. People are going to want to see the history of women in comic books, not only the superheroes, but also the writers. This fulfills one of those voids. Talks about superheroes like Batwoman. One of them is getting her own movie very soon, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Huge. She's going to I mean, she's already pretty big, but she's really going to blow up once that film comes out. And those books are going to fly. Books like these are going to be great for that. But if you say, hey, I don't really like that, it doesn't sound interesting, guess what? You get any one of those audiobooks on audible.com for free with your trial. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. Pick up this or pick up something with Batman. Any audiobook. You're already listening to a podcast right here. Listen to a book right after. audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
And with that, we can move into my favorite part of the podcast, the comic books, where Dan tries to pick out my pick of the week, and he's always wrong.
Not always. I have a saga of good choices and predictions.
That was amazing.
Saga of a win streak.
Okay, but you can't even count Saga anymore, because we always know that that's going to be the one that I pick. It's probably even my pick from this week, even though it was last week.
I read it again.
And I still choose it. It is still impressing me. So, this week we had all DC Comics.
All DC.
Amazing.
It just worked out that way.
Wonderful week.
People are like, it's always all DC. You guys, I don't count it when you just get one Marvel book. It's always DC.
Sometimes we have indie.
We do.
We get
very
TMNT
true.
and my book, and Bonnie, which is about me as a pirate.
Yes, it is.
So first off, we're going to start off with Detective Comics number 36. This is written by Benjamin Percy, with art by John Paul Leon, and colorist is Dave Stewart and John Paul Leon.
This is part 2 of the Terminal mini-stories that they're doing.
Spooky mini-stories.
It's essentially the story of how would Batman handle a terrorist if he came to Gotham.
This was like a spooky terrorist.
He uses they're considered bioweapons, right? Mm-hmm. When it's a virus that completely decimates a population or an entire city. And that's what comes to Batman's front door. Not only that, but at one point he does get infected with this virus. So he has to work against time and Batman his way to a solution. I really like this book. It was almost my pick of the week because throughout this, when he's facing his own mortality, and he does it all the time because he is just a person. He's not an alien from another planet that will outlive most humans on Earth. He is the Batman. He's Bruce Wayne, the perfection of human ability in body and mind. But at one point he does have to face that and say, well, what do I do with my time if I know I'm going to die? Especially when he doesn't know in this story if he's going to make it out of it. And there's a great story, a great little piece of information, philosophy at the end of this book. And it's all reflected with an action that Batman gives. And it was really lovely. I really enjoyed this.
Mm-hmm. Me as well. He meets a great little friend in there too. And I love the ending where he just comes full circle with his new friend.
Also Grayson fans. Dick Grayson makes an appearance in this, and it's not just, hey, how's it going? See ya.
I was shocked. Is this where you're going, Dick Grayson? Because you should be whiny again.
So we complain about him being whiny, and then when he's not whiny, but he's more agent-y.
He's not himself without being whiny. Like, I felt he was trying too hard here. He was like, give me the information.
He was trying hard because Batman told him to get this information.
Yeah.
You get that information in any way possible, even if it's out of character for someone like Grayson. All of this worked. There wasn't a bit of this that I didn't like.
Agreed. I don't think that's going to be out of character for him soon, though. Scares me a little bit, but not really, because I'm like, this will be cool to see him not be whiny, but he should still be whiny because it's fun.
Especially when he's Nightwing.
Yes. In your shadow.
Next is Gotham Academy number 2, written by Becky Cloonan and Brendan Fletcher, art by Carl Kerschel, and colors by Geyser, Dave McCaig, and John Rauch.
I'm continuing to really like this series. We're getting further into the story. I don't feel it was as strong as the first issue, though.
I agree. This one didn't flow as well as the first issue. There were some really sudden points, and not only in the story, but also in the way the characters interacted. Mm-hmm. When she's traveling with one of her friends throughout the school grounds, and they're reaching certain locations, like the dialogue doesn't really flow as they're reaching this. It almost feels like, well, we need these characters to get into this secret organization, whatever, but along the way we got to make them figure out what they want to say, and they just kind of filled it in with whatever they could as best they could, and it just didn't work too well. But overall, I did still enjoy the issue.
Mm-hmm. Me as well. It's I say this about every comic, but it's going to lead up to something big. It does have a great story and some really interesting characters, and I still think she's going to get back together with Kyle.
Still not too much teen angst for you?
There's never too much teen angst for me. Like this, I live off teen angst. Is that so weird?
No, not
I'm
at all.
just like, tell me your problems. Who broke up with who?
The art is still strong, though. Mm-hmm. Love the art. It's really digital, but I'm really digging it. And I do still like this little world that they're building with these new characters, these new teachers. And I hope that some of this translates over into the regular Batman universe and continues, because it seems like these students can really grow up to have a profound effect on what Batman may end up facing or getting helped by in the future.
I think they should put Snape in it.
There should be a Snape-like character for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. And he can go, what was his line we always made fun of?
Well, I always say always, but that's not a line to make fun of.
That's not the one we make fun of. You just...
No.
Somebody needs to say that. So our next book is Grayson number 4. This is written by Tim Seeley and Tom King, with art by Mikkel Janin, and the colorist is Jeremy Cox.
This story is more of Grayson. I feel like he's really missing being Nightwing, and you get a lot of that in this.
Agreed. See, you took the good side of it. I was like, he's just showing off.
That's what you saw?
He just wants to get some ladies.
Well, so, sort of like Batman, I guess.
Well, yeah, but Batman doesn't show off. He just gets the ladies.
I like the interaction between Grayson and his partner in this. Like, they're building that friendship between the two, possible romance. After what happened in the last couple of issues, I feel like this is almost like a fresh start on the Little Grayson series. And so far, like, I'm really interested to see how Batman may or may not be found out by Spiral.
He won't be. He's Batman. This was a really, really fun issue, though. Even the little side characters I thought were great. I was like, more teen angst. I think we're going to get to a head very soon where Grayson's going to be found out, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like the plot is almost getting ready to wrap up in time for Convergence, when we'll see Nightwing return. It's almost as if, okay, well, we knew we weren't always going to have just Grayson. Let's see what we can build with this until we get our, whatever relaunch, whatever is happening in April. And that's when Nightwing will probably come back. So we got maybe 3 issues left, if that happens, until Convergence. And I feel like this is the arc that they're probably going to end on, especially with Spiral figuring out and finding more and more superheroes. This was my pick of the week.
Really? This was I would have never guessed that a Grayson book would be your pick of the week.
Neither would I. I really liked it.
Really? Interesting. Do you think, though, because I was curious, our little side characters, do you think they'll be reused?
I hope they are. I hope they will be.
I liked their costume designs. I thought they were really cool. I thought they all had a really great personality.
Yeah, you can see the cover if you go to Grayson number 4 on DC Comics. They are actually wearing the costumes on there. Those are the outfits that Kelly's referring to. They're kind of like skeleton-ish, but they also have the yellow bodysuit to it. Next is New 52 Futures End number 27. It's written by Brian Azzarello, Jeff Lemire, Dan Jurgens, and Keith Giffen, with art by Aaron Lopresti and colors by Hi-Fi.
You picked this one up for a very special reason.
I did. I know issue number 28 will be that cover where Batman is landing on Batfake on the Bat Signal. And that's when we have the fight between the two. Like, who is the... Like, Batman's going to figure out who you are. And Old Man Batman told you, Terry, don't let him find you. Whatever you do, don't let him find you.
Oh, Terry.
Because I will stop you. And he's referring to himself in the past. Like, I won't fuck around. You will be taken out. I don't know why Batman told him that. Because it's like, really, what chance does Terry have of not being found by Batman?
No chance.
That is the moment that happens in this. The first, the first 75% of this issue is just like, oh, this isn't very good. Just like the New 52 Futures End. Like, I haven't liked the series. Batman Eternal, on the other hand, that's the weekly I'm reading. This one, I can't do it. But I picked it up because you do see that meeting between Batman and Batman Beyond. That
was the whole point of this book, and it was a great meeting. And the next issue is going to be great. And then we can stop reading again. I hope Old Man Bruce somehow comes back too.
I love that Batman's just beating the... No, I won't spoil it. Actually, I won't spoil that.
It was great, though. Wonderful moment. Because I was reading, you're like, we really got to read this one. There's something, and I'm reading the first half, like you said. I'm like, yeah, why am I... Oh! And then that was my excitement of the week. Next up, we have Superman Unchained, number 9. This one's written by Scott Snyder with art by Jim Lee and Dustin Nguyen. And the colorist is Alex Sinclair and John Caleese.
The final issue in Superman Unchained.
Yes.
Part 9 of 9.
Yes.
What did you think?
It's over.
That it is. Is this your pick of the week?
It is not my pick of the week.
All right. Interesting.
You never guessed my pick of the week.
Well, you're supposed to say what your pick of the week is as we get to it.
Well, anyway, this is not my pick of the week. I did enjoy it, though. I knew that the ending was going to happen. It wasn't a surprise.
So you saw the ending coming from just the beginning of this?
From, the last issue.
Okay.
When Luthor's like, here's this thing, it's going to do that thing. I'm like, he's not going to do that thing. The other guy's going to do that thing.
Here's what I did like about the book. They incorporated Dustin Nguyen's drawings into the story seamlessly, whereas in the previous issues, he was just kind of like the backstory, like, here's what happened over here, and this is not really a part of the main comic, though. But then here, it's all in the flashback sequences, like, here's Dustin Nguyen's art, and it's beautiful, and it's dark, and it's creepy. And then we jump into Jim Lee's, who's a little more comic booky and cleaner and whatnot. And then we jump back into Dustin Nguyen's portion, which reflects on what's happening now in the story. So I thought that was really neat. But what actually happened in the book, I was really, really let down.
Mm-hmm. It was a great story. I felt like as they went on, it was kind of, okay, we have to get this out. Not, I've got this great idea.
If this book had come out on time, but they were the exact same issues, would you have enjoyed it more? Does the release time and delays, does that make a difference in it?
I don't feel that it did because I still remembered what happened. I didn't feel lost when I started reading this book, but it just, I felt it had so much potential in the beginning, and towards the end it just kind of got muddled and there was so much going on. I felt they should have kept it more simple and streamlined.
We haven't had one of these in a while. Superman Loves Batman Moment of the Week theme song.
I can lift you up. I can show you what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my luck. Even if the sky is falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound. We're safe and sound.
So go ahead and give us that moment, Dan.
There's 2 moments in this, and it involves another character. One is when Wonder Woman and Batman are communicating with Clark and talking about what they need to do to stop this bigger threat that's coming to Earth, and it suddenly cuts off based on them getting closer. He says, "Hello, Batman?" and completely ignores the fact that Wonder Woman was also on the line.
He's so excited. Like, my old girlfriend, who cares?
But Batman is gone, and I need to know why. Oh, it's those aliens? I'm going to go destroy them because I can't talk to my man right now. And you notice he didn't kiss Lois. He just gave her a hug.
Well, yeah, because they're besties.
Yep, BFFs.
Yeah.
The other Superman Loves Batman moment of the week is actually going to be Wraith Loves Batman moment of the week. Because,
finally,
without spoiling what ends up happening, Wraith decided who was based on the fight that they had and based on what Superman is doing, who truly is deserving of the Batman, based on his actions. If you read Superman Unchained number 9, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Both of them love Batman.
Well, everyone loves Batman. 100% of everyone. Go ahead and name a character and I'll tell you why they love Batman.
Green Arrow.
Because they both live in shadows. Green Arrow's pretty much trying to be Batman because he loves him so much.
Let me try to give you a tougher one.
Won't happen.
Deadshot.
He was trying to kill Batman because he just wanted him for himself. Nobody even paid him to try and kill him. He's like, if I can't have you, nobody can.
Okay, one more. Red Tornado. Oh, an android. You can't do that one.
No. Remember, Hardak was in love with Batman.
so the Red Tornado can be in love with Batman?
Yes. He keeps it to himself, but Batman's the only one who can make him feel. See? Easy. Boom. Everybody loves Batman.
Final book this week is Tiny Titans Return to the Treehouse, number 6 of 6, written by Art Baltazar and Franco, with art by Art Baltazar.
This is my pick of the week.
What? What? This is your pick of the week? Never. Okay, so you never would have guessed that Grayson would have been mine. And you come out with this surprise pick of the week out of nowhere. I see our list of comics. We get to Superman Unchained. I'm like, well, it's definitely not Tiny Titans. She fucking hates Tiny Titans. And then you say it's Tiny Titans.
You think you know me. Going on about your saga stuff, think you know who I am. But I'm a mystery. Never forget that. I'm a mystery.
So tell us why Tiny Titans Return to the Treehouse was your pick of the week.
Because this was Batman Schoolin' Everybody, number 6 of 6. This book surprised me. It's when I made my order, this was the top of the list because I knew I wasn't going to like it. And I'm like, whatever. And it surprised the hell out of me. Because Batman was wonderful. Superman was totally in love with Batman through this whole thing. This was my Superman loves Batman moments of the week. Because Batman's like, yo, Clark, do this. And he's like, yeah! And just whatever he wants, Superman goes and does.
He also showed up immediately into the watchtower.
Immediately.
He's like, Clark! And then, boom, he's there. He's like,
hi, here I am. He was probably like saving somebody drowning and he just left him.
He called him Bruce too. He's like, yeah, Bruce.
Exactly. So this was great. This was Batman schooling people. We get some funny people in school because Principal Slade was like, detention for everyone. And I'm like, yeah, detention for you all. That's why this is my pick of the week, because Batman was funny.
It was a very good issue. I really enjoyed it. There weren't as many inside jokes to the podcast.
That's probably why I liked it more too.
Yeah, they were just trying to wrap it all up. But at the same time, they left it open for more issues. Even though this is number 6 of 6, they left it on a bit of a cliffhanger with Lunch Lady Darkseid.
Which was great. But that's a very good point you bring up. There aren't as many inside jokes, and that's probably why I appreciated it more, because I didn't feel lost.
If they were to return, they're obviously going to come back to Tiny Titans. Do you want to see them do an ongoing, another miniseries like this, or bring it out in trade format like they have been with Avatar?
How many Batman moments would be in it?
Well, I'd hope a lot, because I feel like when they mix the older Justice League members with the younger ones, like you can do tons of, a lot of fun things, especially if you're using the villains from the grown-ups.
If it were all Batman moments, make it an ongoing.
And Tiny Batman.
Yes. It'd be so good. It's like Little Gotham, but
just
not
as
awesome.
good.
Because it doesn't have Dusty Win.
Wow, very surprised though. Your pick of the week.
Mm-hmm. We surprised each other. I don't think it's ever happened to this degree.
Yeah, my pick of the week to summarize was Grayson number 4.
And mine was Tiny Titans Return to the Treehouse number 6 of 6.
My pass of the week was Superman Unchained number 9.
Yeah, that'll be my pass of the week as well.
As we wrap up this episode of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, I want to thank all of the listeners out there, all of the viewers on YouTube as well. We have a new unboxing video for all of you. It is the Pokemon Elite Trainer box for Shadow Forces. I did an unboxing with all of the contents inside. Definitely check that out. And we'll do something very soon as well with the Little Gotham figurines as they arrive.
Little Gotham figurines.
You can find the link to YouTube at nerdupmedia.com. While you're there, check out one of our many other great shows, including the other podcast, Those Two Jerks, comic book reviews, The Read Pile, and Let's Play Gaming channel from the Lazy Gaming Guys.
If you guys are listening to us through iTunes, please leave a rating, a comment, a review. It helps other people find us, and we will definitely read it on the next podcast.
Absolutely. Many ways you can help us out. If you're like, hey guys, I'm listening to this podcast because I'm broke as well. I have no money. Leave us a review on iTunes. Leave us a review on Stitcher. Great way to help us. It takes very little time, but it goes a long way. Or if you have a little bit of extra money and you want to help us out by checking out a t-shirt, donating, we'll ship that right out to you, and you'll have an awesome t-shirt in the color of your choice with the Nerd Up Media logo, and you'll be helping spreading out the word there.
Or you can check out an audiobook through audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
Completely free. We want to thank Audible. We want to thank Lazy Nerds Designs, the rest of the crew at Nerd Up Media for promoting us as well as we promote them.
And most importantly, all you listeners for supporting us with your listens and your reviews.
Yeah, the questions of the week you guys provide, the comments that you give us after an episode comes out, what you enjoyed, that's the stuff that keeps us going.
Oh, speaking of which, but not really, off topic. So I totally caught a new Pokemons. Because nobody's given me ideas. Nobody sent me food ideas.
So question of the week, what Pokemon is it?
It is an unknown. And I named him Alphabet Soup.
Alphabet Soup.
Because they're out, and I'm going to catch them all and name them all alphabet soup. Well, I might name the O SpaghettiOs.
That's, or you could also name it Cheerios.
No, I got to keep with the pasta soup theme.
All right.
So he'll be SpaghettiOs.
I want to find the off-brand SpaghettiOs and have you name them that.
It's probably like Sketty Rounds.
Spaghetti Rounds.
That's the name of the podcast this week.
Spaghetti Rounds. So thank you from Kelli and I. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelli.
See you next week.